Joe, just unmute yourself again.
Hello?
What's going on there? It's like being in a chimp's tea party.
Is it Smile Club meeting, Joe?
I thought I could hear Gav in background.
No, it's just a generic Burnley accent.
You look a bit grumpy, Joe. Is everything all right? You look a bit grumpy.
Oh, no, I'm fine.
All right, okay. If you insist.
No, I'm really excited.
Tell your face.
I mean, I can't smile anymore. Just look demented if I do that.
You don't. You look lovely.
Gordon, send more house to save the house. Come on, the house!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lowerhouse Cricket Club podcast, the Housecast. It's been a bizarre couple of weeks. Some great recording, some great sport over the Easter weekend, which I'm no doubt we're going to, and we've got the April draw to do. Got a great guest on tonight whose performances over the weekend were quite outstanding, and I want to get into him and chat about how that went. But we'll come on and introduce him in a minute. We'll just go around the table. Dooch, you're at home, all nice and peaceful. You enjoy last weekend?
Yes, I did, yeah. Very good weekend. Great to be back watching cricket in the sunshine as well, which was great. And obviously we played very well, so all good.
Yeah, and it is, for the start of the season, like you said, the pictures are unreal with the lack of rain and the bounce and how firm it is. He's looking really good. Gary, welcome, and thanks very much for coming on to co-host this. I'm sure you'll have kept yourself abreast of the weekend's Lowerhouse results and other sports. How are you doing?
Yeah, we're all good, Jez. Thanks. Yeah, it was surprising when I switched on to stream. I thought I were like looking at Sahara Desert or something. I've never seen it as brown or as bare at this time of year ever. It were bizarre. If I hadn't seen Frank and Stan chatting back roller, I genuinely were going to disconnect and just check me YouTube channels haven't been hacked.
Thought you were dialing into Delhi.
Yeah, it was something like that. It was bizarre.
Yeah.
We're in camera. Does it actually look like that?
No, it does. It's and again, you know, the way Stan and his team manage it, they're just taking the right amount off at the moment. The outfield's looking great because of all the work that was done on it in the winter. And I think they're managing it really quite well, Gary. It's a little bit, if you remember, it hasn't gone dusty or sandy yet, so there's still quite a bit of bounce there. So there's a little bit of moisture, but they're leaving a little bit more grass on than they used to when we played in July and August, and it was like that. But I was chatting to Blaise, Gary, during the game on Sunday, and he likened it last season, exactly the same time, I think with 3 lakes around the ground. There was one down at the bottom near the groundsman's hut, then one at the top that was gushing out of the lake. And it's just, it's where the climate is. But Stan's doing a great job on his team in managing it. But we'll get on to Joe Martin and our guest as to how it played. Joe Martin, I know you're on mute and you seem like you're in a nightclub in Manchester somewhere. Is it still as noisy or have you moved positions?
I haven't moved positions. I imagine it's probably still as noisy. And whilst I'm obviously a frequent attendee of Manchester nightclubs, I'm not there. I'm at the club.
You're at the cricket club, all right. Okay, I thought there has to be.
Who's making all the noise, Joe? Come on, name names. Who's making all the noise?
Well, my dad's here.
Raucous character. Any others?
Yeah, Greg Kerr's here. Roger. Who else?
Surprise.
Ed Hall, Sam Mixsmith, Mark
What are they doing?
Mark
Watching
Whitehead.
football?
Yeah, come up for a drink every night. It's really good.
Times have changed, Gaz. If you remember, we used to be training, and then we'd have a few pints. There's even spectators come up now. So thanks very much, Joe, and thanks, Joe, for organising tonight's guest. If I can just do a bit of background about who he is. He joined us 2 or 3 years ago from another Lancashire League club. You know, a bit of controversy, but I think everything went well, and for the right reasons. A young lad who is mad keen, works so hard at his cricket, and you can see him improve game by game. Went out to Australia this winter to improve himself and his cricket, and has come back, I personally think, with an extra at least yard, if not 2 yards of pace on, and his batting's excelled himself. So our special guest tonight is Tom Walker. Welcome on, Tom. How are you doing?
Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Good. No, I really appreciate it. Certainly, I mean, we only did a podcast last week, but we thought we'd squeeze another one in because of the way the sporting events went this weekend. So, Tom, just give us a little bit of, what's gone on in the last, 12 months. You've been over in Australia, you've come back, and you're looking great. Nick, are you feeling good about your cricket? Are you looking forward to the summer?
Yeah, no, really excited because it was a great weekend for us, for the boys. The second's got a win as well, so it was a collective weekend, very good weekend. Like what I've been doing over the past 12 months, so last year was meant to be, or what I was thinking was going to be my last year, like here for a while, at Lowerhouse for a while. Went over to Australia, played cricket there, played some really good standard, probably a lot better than I am. But yeah, definitely, I feel like improved my game a lot. And then Ben and Selby, the pro, asked me if I'd be interested in coming back for another season. And then, yeah, really, really kind of excited for the season. I feel like the group we've got at the moment is one of the best I've been involved in anyway. Like, no matter in England or Australia, it's like such a tight-knit group at the moment. A lot of people know the games really well. We have a really clear game plan as well. No matter kind of what the team, we're gonna always take them on. So yeah, I'm really excited to be back.
And it must be quite, because you're at the right age. You're obviously, fit as a butcher's dog. The way I can see the way you run in, and you just don't give up. And so it is a good time for you to be with the likes of the pro Dan and obviously Ben's thinking. Are they looking to change your game at all from what you were 12 months ago and the way you battered, or is it just a case of be yourself?
I think it's more be myself, and just like a big thing that Ben and Dan are mentioning at the moment, and obviously Joe will be able to comment on this as well, and Dooch as well. It's like if you get out playing the shot that you think was right, or if you get out taking the game on, then there's not going to be one comment in the dressing room. And I think that's a really powerful thing to have from a batting group, and just kind of like, if you had any nerves about losing your wicket, you don't anymore. And it's even rubbing off on the likes of Henry and Charlie, Charlie Gansler, both days this weekend hit, I think he's second or third ball for 4 down the ground, running at spin. And you just I just, the difference between last year and this year, I think, is that. And it's just that freedom to play, I guess. Yeah.
And it is, I mean, it's so refreshing to hear, what you're saying and confirming. We had Dan on the podcast last year, and he said that. And it's a little bit like, I know it's national team, but the way Brendan McCullen seems to play is, no fear, believe in yourself. And if you get out and it's for the right reasons and for the, doing the right things, then it's only a game. No one's going to die. There's, if you lose, you lose. And I do sometimes wonder, going back, Gary's just dropped off the call, but when he comes back on, there is 100% going back to, and what was I play, 80s, 90s and 2000s, there was always a fear if I get out, we're going to lose this. And that attitude of take it on yourself and there's no one else that can do it. So it's such a generational thing, and things have changed, and it reflects, you can see from us watching on the side how good it's looking. Joe Martin, is that something that you're a laid back character? You've played so many games, you take things on as it goes along. Is that just something you can manage and keep going with?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm probably in a slightly different position to Tom in that I don't really bat out the order anymore. But I think that as a collective, it's not just about your own. It's not just about your own game. It's about making sure that you are supporting everybody else to make sure that they're confident in making sure that they can execute their skills how they want and their game plan, so that there aren't any half measures, I guess. So if they're going to play any particular shot or bowl a particular ball to a particular plan, that we're backing them 100% to succeed in that. So I think it's probably to deflect away from my own game. It's a more of a collective effort to make sure that we're all pulling in the same direction.
And it is, I was chatting to Ducci about it at weekend and a few others. We used to, Gary, we're just chatting there. I don't know if you were still listening when you dropped off, about how this side, when we played, I mentioned just there, Gary, that when we played, it did matter. You were a case of, if we get beat, it's the end of the world. If I don't get 5 wickets or you don't get 50, then everyone's disappointed. I wonder how that mentality's changed. How do you think of that, Gary? Because that's how Lowerhouse are playing now. I can assure you, watching them. How do you think that's changed, and why didn't we do it?
Better players, Jez. I think.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
No, I don't mean that late, but the confidence that they've got is great. I mean, obviously Ben mentioned it on the podcast last week about their approach, and that came through clear in this weekend's. But yeah, you've got to have. I mean, 1 to 11, they're all top quality players, but it'd have been 2 or 3 in pro in our team at best, who could back themselves to that extent. But the weight of the responsibility of that, if they play a stupid shot or don't come off, the rest of the team aren't going to muster another 30 runs. Yeah. I think that's the difference, Jez, if I'm honest. And it's a different mentality all through cricket altogether. It just wasn't the thing in the early 90s, was it? That just wasn't. Until Sri Lanka came on and had pinch hitting openers in one-day cricket. Again, it wasn't really a thing. People call West Indies flamboyant, and that's just their style. But the first team to actually consciously play differently in that sort of way were Sri Lanka in that World Cup, and or leading up to that World Cup as well. And from then on, that sort of the pinch hitting, and then specific specialised players, one-day players, and it's evolved to the point now where it's almost a given, the quality of the people you're picking, and it's really then down to those finer details of mentality, strategy, psychology, etc. I think at a professional level, and that only then permeates down through league cricket, county or league cricket, etc. So. It's great to watch. It is. I dipped in and out on the Sunday game of the stream, and when you get a side getting 230 odd, you'd expect a couple of 50s in there or an 80 maybe or something. For top score 40 odd, 43 or something. And that just shows everybody buying into that approach batting wise, that you just keep going. Right, next one up, keep going. And it'll be interesting. It'll be great to see if if it comes off regular. It'll be some entertaining. Some people getting value for money down there, won't they, this season?
Definitely, and the enthusiasm from the players as well. And I hear what you're saying, Gary, about going back to the 90s. But I do think Aslington, Burnley, East Lancs, who were dominant then, and we were poor. But they played one way, the opening batter smashed it, and then it died a bit of a death, depending on the pros. I do feel watching us that, typical on Sunday, someone's batting really well, they're doing great, they play a poor shot, get out, and then Tom came in at 4, got out relatively early, and I was so looking forward to watching him after his ton on the Saturday. But then we carried on and carried on and carried on. And it wasn't, right, someone's going to go out and try and lose 10 overs and score 10 and over. It was just, there didn't seem to be any panic. It just seemed that there's a real, I'm sure there will be an occasion where we end up, 120 for 2 with 30 or 40, 35 left and 140 all out. But I think the gamble and the stats would suggest that the way we play is fantastic. I only wanted that section to be for 2 or 3 minutes because I wanted to talk about Saturday first, but it really interests me the way things are going there. So if we can just talk about Saturday. Joe Martin, I know you're really helpful with the way this works. What was it like before the game? The attitude? It's a relatively big fixture in that we're playing local rivals. Burnley, they won the league. Probably just about deserved it in my view. We won the cup in a fantastic occasion. So you've 2 teams. Was it a good atmosphere before the game? How did you guys feel?
It's been a great atmosphere within our team. Since we've got together probably a week or so ago. About a month ago when we started the friendlies. So yeah, I think it's just making sure that we kind of backed ourselves and as I've said, make sure that we know how we want to play and go from there. But it was a really good atmosphere, and it has been for the past 18 months.
Brilliant.
Really people in the team.
You rock up at Turf. You rock up at Turf Moor. Burnley win the toss. Was the pitch looking good?
I don't know. You're
You're
asking the wrong person. I don't look.
It was nice. The pitch was nice. Yeah.
Yeah, as Tom said, I don't know what I'm looking at, so just leave him to it.
Yeah, but I like asking you, and then
I imagine this series of questions will be asked Tom.
Yeah, all right, if you can do that. So Burnley won the toss and decided to field, which, if the pitch is looking okay, and which it should do in these conditions, I don't know. Personally, seemed a bit of a strange decision. I wasn't there.
I think when you look at how Burnley play and bear in mind they have been and are very successful. My kind of vision of their game start with the bowling attack they've got, they'll contain for as long as they can, force the other team to make mistakes, and then typically will either restrict a team or bowl a team out for less than 200, and then bat around hockey, and then chase that down.
Yeah.
So I think actually it for the way they played, it probably made sense.
They won the toss on Sunday in the league and batted first.
I think that might be because they were shocked from what happened on the Saturday. I don't know. Yeah, I think maybe because I think what Joe said.
I don't know actually, Tom. I think I might be wrong actually now I think about it, because I think against us last year, I think they batted first both times.
Yeah, they did.
So that's a poor point from me, Jez. What Joe said.
Well, edit it out, Joe. Edit it out.
Oh, don't worry, I will be. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was a really strange decision. They don't usually bowl first.
On Sunday, I asked about 3 people if they could explain it, and nobody could. Ben's best guess was that they were perhaps a little underprepared and they weren't ready to, maybe they'd not got the most out of the friendlies and they were a little bit worried about maybe batting first and being 60 for 5 or something like that. So they decided to take the safe option and get us in first. I thought it was really weird.
It is a nice way to embed yourself in a game, though, like bowling first, especially early season. So I kind of get it. Was a little bit in the pitch, maybe early. I don't know. You'd have to ask the the openers about how much it did like laterally off the pitch, but when I was in, it wasn't doing a right lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's all right for us to sit here and say, oh well, they would normally do this, or they would, they should have done that. It's a big call sometimes. I'm sure, Dooch, you've been there, and I know I've been there umpteen times, and I know Gary's been there. When that coin goes up, you're hoping you lose it. But that's the way it is. So Ben's out second ball of the game. Jonny Whitehead looks like he batted well. I wasn't watching the game. I've had a few reports off various people. Did Jonny looking good, Nick, Tom?
Oh, yeah. Looked really, really good. Just like a class above as usual.
Yeah.
Not to blow him up too much, but no, he looked very good. Hit the ball really well. But the thing with Ben, Ben got out playing the way that he said at the start of the game, we're going to play like this. This is how we're doing it. And he got out that way, and that was fine. Yeah. Not that you would really say anything to him anyway when he gets out, but you didn't it didn't even think about crossing your mind. He got caught coming down the wicket, trying to hit Barrett back over his head, which goes for 4, goes for 6, just sets the tone for the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's exactly, what I was saying about the Sunday. We don't end up, all panicking, all running around getting your pads on and who's got my gloves and everything else. It's a structure that's in place. So Johnny's done a great job. Henry's battered for a little bit there. Doing his job. There's 3 overs there that he's battered with Johnny. And then Dan's coming, the pro. And again, sounded really good from all accounts. He never looked like getting out.
No,
I think he looked in great nick and was a bit of a surprise when he got out.
Yeah, it was. It was a bit like, how's that happened really? Because he was looking good. He looked set on for another 100 for Lowerhouse.
Yeah. And you're batting with him, Tom. It's over 100 partnership ultimately that you've put on, and you're not scoring particularly quickly. Was that intentionally? Were you just rotating the strike and not trying to smash it? Just get Dan on the strike?
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. Batting with him is the easiest thing in the world. He just basically talks you through it. He tells you exactly what shots kind of to play and what shots not to. Yeah. It was just a thing. Our plan middle overs was to go 4, 5 and over, not go crazy, and just annoy them really. Annoy them with singles, and then obviously they will bowl you a bad ball, which the bowlers tended to do, but they kind of all come in a clump at the end, really, as half the time got out.
Well, and that's exactly, you'll know that yourself as a bowler. That does happen when you think you're bowling well, but you're still going for 5 and over, and the pros in and good amateurs in who's batting very well. But Dan gets out quite surprisingly. Then you and Charlie Gansler, I have to qualify, it wasn't Charlie Cottam, seemed to go, have some real fun at the end.
Yeah.
Put on nearly 100 again between you in no time.
Yeah. So that was when their bowlers started to kind of slip up. I feel like they concentrated so hard with Dan and myself, and we're just kind of knocking around or whatever. And then it was kind of when it got to the crunch time, they used up that concentration, I guess you could say. And then the easier to hit balls started to come out then.
Yeah. And it's only natural that does happen. And, score of 300, whilst, they are capable of getting it, at least one of their players has to get a ton, if not a big ton, and then 2 or 3 50s, depending on how big the ton is. So you go out to bowl there, Joe Martin. You 2 wickets, in the space of, I'm guessing now 3, 4 overs, both caught behind. How was Tom bowling early on, and you're getting those 2 nicks behind?
So I think probably fair to say, Tom, that you those first few overs,
like a drain.
Yeah, you didn't quite have the rhythm that you would you would want. I mean, it just battered for however many overs, and battered so well. But you'd be pretty tired. So we managed to get Liam Bedford, who's had some really good seasons the past few years. We managed to get him early, caught down the leg side. Bit of a dire, weren't it, Tom? It kind of gloved it and went down.
Yeah, it was an awful ball. I'm not going to lie.
And then
he said it in the bar afterwards. He was like,
and then to get Cash Shaw, that was a proper ball. It was quick. It was aimed at his head, and he's kind of gloved it and got quite a big nick on it, really. So it's coming, and it came through to me probably, I don't know, shoulder high, like knee high to everybody else,
short?
I guess.
Was it short? You know, was it a lot of pace in it?
There was a lot of pace in it, and I think that's one of the things actually, is that I think people know fast Tom bowls, but I think it's when he gets the length right, I think it's quite tough to play, because I think it cramps you up a little bit and it's quick onto you. It's
I think bats in our league, they're not really used to playing short stuff, I mean, we don't really have professionals in the league who bowl express pace anymore. There's not loads of amateurs knocking around who are capable of bowling head-high bouncers at decent pace. So I just think it's a skill that's sort of waned a little bit. And not many clubs have got a bowler who can do it. So it's a great weapon to have.
Definitely.
It is, and it's something we need to treasure and keep hold of, because it can go as quickly as it comes as well. And I'm not being doom and gloom there, whether it's the pitches, whether it's the weather conditions or injuries or even action, but it's good work. It's good to see Charlie Gansler bowling quite well there as well, Joe Martin, and I think it's fair to say, well, obviously they never looked like winning it because they were under 32 all out, but even when Roberts and their pro were in, they didn't have a sniff, I would suggest.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think we were really disciplined, actually. Pat bowled well, and Gansler bowled well first up. And Tom took some important wickets. So I think it was just a case that we got our plans right, and then we could go from there. Pat bowled extremely well again, and got Matt Roberts out and Oki out as well. So
fantastic this weekend.
Yeah, he seems to be getting better and better, and 7 overs 34 for 3. I know Tom's taking those early ones, but it's he's keeping that pressure on, and then Toxic chipping in 4 overs 15 for 1. Oki's got those 3 overs in, and Dan's got his couple of wickets there towards the end, which he always seems to mop up. So they're working as a team there, the bowling unit. They're really working and getting everything together, and we'll come on to that later. So going on to the first league game of the season, Darwen at home, tough game. The good side Darwen, they've been there or thereabout for a number of years since they've joined the Lancashire League. Steady amateurs. I don't think you knew a great deal about the pro, did you, Joe? Their pro?
Yes, he was pro at Reed a few years ago when Paddy was head coach,
right,
and obviously has played Test match cricket as well.
Yeah.
So excellent pedigree as a cricketer. And a prolific run scorer. So scored a lot of runs. I think he probably scored over 1,000 at Reed, maybe. I might be wrong on that, but I seem to remember that was the case. I wasn't really sure of his bowling. Not really sure whether he bowled off spin or leg spin. But he didn't bowl on the weekend anyway.
No.
But I knew he was a good player.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We'll go into that as we talk through the game. So again, Ben and Jonny looking good, Nick. I thought certainly Jonny he was smashing it a bit. Change of bowling. I don't know, whether that upset his rhythm, got out. Potentially unnecessary, but that's the way that you guys play and how it works. And then Henry comes in, steadies the ship, and before we know where we are, and this is what I think is fantastic about the way you're playing. We didn't appear to be on top. We weren't. They were changing the bowling round quite a bit. A good crowd on, the outfield's quick, and I'm thinking, I'm not just sure we're on top of this, but we were 100 for 2, with lots of overs left, and I'm still sat there thinking, I'm not sure we're on top of this, which is a ridiculous thing to think when we've got what we've got available to come out and bat. So, Tom, you've gone out there full of beans, I guess, from the day before. all disappointing.
Yeah, I think like a couple of the boys said it afterwards as well. They were like, "Oh, you will only learn that exactly what happened at the weekend by doing it." So like you're 100 and I was still trying to bat like I was 110 not out. You know what I mean? Tried to play this big booming drive to one of their better bowlers, and see you later, champion, on your bike.
Yeah, and that happens, doesn't it? Of course it does. Again, talking through the attitude of the batters, it must give you some solace that the talent that is behind you, you're not just carrying the side, and you've got some great players that can come after you. And as it turned out, that happened. We didn't end up 160 all out or 130 all out. It was a steady progress. I'm not bothered who talks me through this, Joe or Tom, but it was a bit of a shock for a lot of people sat around when Toxie walked out. What happened there?
I feel like Toxie's a bit underrated as a batter by a lot of people, not just like around the league, by our, I don't know, people who watch or whatever. But I see him working really hard in the nets with Dan and obviously everybody. And I don't know, I just feel like he batted like he should do, or like normally does. You know what I mean? He's a very, very, very good batter.
I mean, one of the other things on it, Tom, is that there were probably, I think, Toxie walking out to bat, there were probably some surprises by people who were watching, but equally, he's never really had an opportunity in our team because if you look at the batting order for the past few years, that's the nature of the beast, I guess. So
I think that another thing that it allows like Charlie to do exactly what he did, Charlie Cotton, to do exactly what he did. It gives him that extra bit of time, and then he can say like, I've got 5 overs, I can just try and smash it, which he does very, very well. Same with Paddy, who we know is really good at closing out a batting innings. They can just do their thing, and Toxie can soak up a bit of pressure. He knows how to bat, he knows how to kind of do that, but then also knows how to attack and then flick the strike over when he needs to as well.
I mean, I think it's a great point. It's a great point, Tom. And I think I'd like to. I wonder how many of the supporters know that Toxie's had like 500 runs, 600 runs in a season. One year did the double. So did the amateur double. So it's not as though he's like he doesn't know what end of the bat to hold. It's a very, very competent cricketer and can bat. I mean, he's shown with quite a few innings over his Lowerhouse career that he can bat. It's just that it doesn't get a lot of chance.
His highest season's tally for Lowerhouse is 68 runs in a season.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
Wow.
But he did get 622 for Nelson in 2014.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, a lot of that, like you said, Joe, is down to lack of opportunity because he's playing in a much better side than he was when he was at Nelson. But yeah, that's quite a stark contrast, isn't it? That.
Oh yeah, massively. I mean, I don't disagree, but I would say Toxie has been one of the cricketers that has consistently wanted to bat and have the chance to bat. So I think it's just. I mean, it just shows. As Toxie walked out, but again, if he backs himself, he's got he hits the ball in awkward places, in unorthodox places. It's very difficult to bowl that. and we actually saw some shots at the weekend that we've not seen before. Some like
We've
side
had some lovely
sweep
shots on
shots
Sunday.
and we've seen these a lot, but he's shot through the covers and over extra cover and stuff. So,
I mean, Ben must be thrilled really, because obviously we know Francois in that lineup. You look down, you think I'm struggling to see where it looks any weaker. I mean, obviously class about a lot of runs that you're going to lose there, and everybody batting round Francois. And I know it's one swallow don't make a summer type of situation, but you look down that team, it's ridiculous. You know, you got Charlie, Paddy, Joy Oak, and you as bottom four in that, in that side, bottom four. With all due respect, it's sort of 8, 9, 10, 11. But it gives Ben that flexibility. If Toxie can do that, just pushed up the order for a spurt, or if we lose a couple of wickets, then it's maybe Charlie and Paddy to steady something. He must be thrilled with how that's come off first time of asking. I don't know if other teams do their own work or whatever though, or plan. Like against, okay, this is Todd's lineup, or this is Clitheroe's. They bat like this. He comes in at 6, and he always tries to swing from his arse. Or and if you're less predictable, then
certainly,
and they've got to mix bowling up, or they've got to change the field settings or how they approach the game. Then it gives the opposition food for thought as well. Gets them out of the comfort zone a bit.
Yeah, great point, Gaz.
And it's entertaining. It's people who are listening and thinking that us spectators think that these players don't know what they're doing. It's the opposite. The players love it. The spectators love it, the way the players go about the business. So it is important that that comes across. And then Toxie bats so well, so sensibly. Charlie comes out again, just works it around like a dream, and then starts smashing it. Paddy's run out. I thought Paddy looked in great nick, and I thought he was going to, push us up. I think we were 280 with about 4 or 5 to go, and I thought, if we get to 230, this would be fantastic. And then you came out, Joe. Do you want to just talk us through this shot?
Yeah. Now, incredibly, this was also thought out. Want to talk it? Well, I tried. I'd had some unbelievable, and it was unbelievable because not only have I never played any of the shots before, I've never even practiced. But I'd managed to play some reverse sweeps and some ramps on Friday in the 2020, and I thought it was a good option, but as it turned out, it was one of the slowest cricket balls I've ever seen. And I said to Chaz, I was walking off, I said, probably wasn't a good decision. The maximum I would have got for that was a 1. Really high risk strategy for 1 run.
I actually don't reckon you would have even got 1. That's how slow this ball was.
It would have just gone straight up. I
think it would have landed right behind the keeper. And the keeper was stood up for people who didn't watch. And I reckon it would have just gone just over him and just landed just behind him.
Yeah,
I think you're right, Tom. Or even landed in his gloves. But let's talk about your shot that did work. Because for the people who are listening, that is on social media. And I asked you about it on Sunday, and you called it a ramp. And is it really a ramp? It's more of a, I don't know.
I guess it's a bit of a scoop.
Yeah.
Really, no, I don't know what it is. It was just,
It's awesome. That's what it is.
It was off the cuff. I don't know about that, Tom. It's more luck than judgment, I think. But yeah,
I thought you were going to go into like a Cossack dance routine.
Well, basically, I mean, on my previous history, Gaz, you won't put it past me, I don't think.
So to drop to your haunches like that, I thought, hey, he's going to be doing all, the old Russian two-step.
I mean, believe it or not, when I did used to bat, I did used to sweep off both knees.
Sweep off both knees?
Yeah.
What?
One shot on both knees.
How do you do that? What, knelt down?
Yeah. Yeah, I used to. And the reason I saw Graham Lloyd do it. and it gave him option to hit a hard sweep or a reverse or a paddle, and it just meant that you're in a slightly different position. I've
So
not.
you knelt down on both knees, almost in a praying position.
Yeah.
Facing the bowler.
Yeah.
And with all respect, Joe, if it had bounced in the right place, it could have gone over your head and bowled you.
No.
No, he's not.
How tall?
If you knelt down,
He's not a garden gnome.
I mean, no, thank you. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, I'm not bounced over it. No, you go back in your crease and you go down. Bounced over me.
We need to see this in next game.
I was going to say, is this audio only, or is this visual as well?
Yeah, no, it's just audio. But the listeners can watch on YouTube the shot that you played on Friday. So anyone who wants
it was a massive fluke, Jess. But if we can hit in different areas. The reason I did it on Friday was too windy. It was too windy to try and hit it straight. So But let's talk about Tom's 100 again.
Well, we've done that. We want to talk about other stuff now.
Okay.
Tom, just talk through. So you bowled from the park end, which is different for a quick bowler. Are you enjoying it from there?
Yeah. So because of the way the wind was playing, the way the pitch was playing as well, and the way their bowlers had bowled, we said me from the park end. So I had the first over, which was nice as well. And then proceeded to bowl like a drain for my first over, pretty standard. Moved on to Patrick then. Patrick steady away as always. He was really, really good again on Sunday. We kind of got the openers out. Who was it? It was Rhys Davis, wasn't it? And the guy from Harwood.
Oh, Scott Friend open.
Yeah, Friend, yeah. Who got him out?
You ran him out, Tom.
Run out.
Oh, run out. God, yeah, that was a good bit of fielding. Rhys Davis run his pal out, Scott Friend. But I mean, cover he was as active as anybody was, moved around like a leopard, like a cheetah to run Scott Friend out. Then in terms of the bowling, not to hype myself up too much there. In terms of the rest of the bowling, Toxie was really, really good, really patient. Paddy again was really good. Joey Hawke wrapped up and got the pro out right at the end, which was really nice.
Really well, Hawke.
He did bowl really well. It was probably a time where we needed him to get out as well, and just to kind of put the nail in the coffin. Really, we know we'd won, but just to really kind of hammer it home. For points there, that Darwen obviously looked like they were going to come back. We kind of had them up the creek, and then their pro and then number 8 who got handy runs as well for them, kind of combined to make a really good comeback. And then Joey Hawke cleaned it up, didn't he? Finished it off.
And it's good to see. I mean, so if I can just go back on to what you were saying there about the pro, we're getting to 7 and over, pushing 8 and over. I think, they were down to maybe 5 or 6 wickets. And we've all seen it where a pro can just explode and then all of a sudden, get 60 in 4 overs and the game's turning a little bit. So it was important to keep that pressure on. So let's talk about Friday. What a great event it is. Charity event every Good Friday at the cricket club. Again, I'm going to promote it and I make no apologies for it. It's a brain tumour charity that's in memory of David Capel, and it means something to Lowerhouse because he did pro for us when for many years ago at Nelson, and he obviously died of the brain tumour, and it's his son that keeps the charity going, and every Good Friday we have an event and there's significant amount of money raised. So thanks to everyone who attended to that, and thanks to the players who played. It was fantastic to see so many people down there, and I think it's fair to say, due to significant amount of money made behind the bar, which will help us going forward. Did you play on Good Friday, Tom? Were you there?
I didn't play, but I was there. Yeah.
Yeah, a good day.
It was a fantastic day. Yeah, those the Deccan Chargers boys are always really really up for it. Good crack as well. And awesome day for the charities as well.
Yeah, it's brilliant. A few pints, some memories made, some new friends acquainted with, and everything's good. So we'll move on to next weekend. What's our thoughts, Joe Martin, on the fixtures next weekend?
So
Norden away.
Yeah, Norden away. Norden are a strong team. They had a tight game this weekend. I think they won against Tottenham.
They did.
So always a good game at Norden for an experienced team. So it'll be a challenge, but let's see where we get.
Fantastic. Can you release anything about it? Is there anyone injured? Is there any changes afoot?
I mean, it's probably a good time to plug is that Jonny's not playing at the weekend because he's running the London Marathon for a charity, Mind. You can still donate if you want to.
Fantastic.
So Jonny will be doing that, and again, we'll all be looking out for how he gets on. It's a really great thing he's doing. So
yeah. So if listeners, if you can, just have a look on it'll be on our social media. Jonny's going and he's trained very hard for it, and he's going to do this for the Mind charity. So if you can go on and sponsor him, it'll be really appreciated. That'd be fantastic. Anything from yourself before we move on to the draw?
No, I don't think so. Just to replace Jonny, Declan Metcalf's actually going to be in the side on Sunday. Declan's played at the club for a few years now. He's still a young kid. He's been leading run scorer in the second 11 for the certainly last season and probably the season before. Promising young, correct batsman. So he's going to get his opportunity on Sunday with Jonny being away.
Yeah, I mean, good luck. It's good luck to Deck. He deserves his place. He has looked good in the seconds of games I've watched. So good luck to him.
What a great side to be sort of coming into to sort of make. I don't know if I think he has played games before. Actually, it's not his debut, but as a kid coming in with not much experience, to be coming into a side that's sort of brimming with confidence and looking good. I mean, that's the time that you want to be making your debut, isn't it? Not a team at the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah, 100%, and and good luck there to Declan, and I'm sure he'll be looked after with all the team, and hopefully he gets a good performance under his belt. So that's it as far as the cricket goes. Tom, if you want to stop on, we're making the Lowerhouse monthly draw, but you're more than welcome to go if you've got anything to do.
Surprisingly, I've got nothing to do, but
right, yes, stop on then.
They're around for the draw. Do you need me to draw some numbers or something, or what?
No, Joe's always wiggling his balls. He will get it sorted. So we will. This is the April draw, and there's 4 prizes: £100, £80, £70, and £50. If you can get the random number generator up to 177, please, Joe.
Make sure there's no Blizzards or Sims in this month.
It's all random.
You can join. Tom, you can join with a stat. Just send me an email or speak to Joe Martin. I'll get you in it.
Nice.
Right, good luck.
£5 a month.
Right. Yeah. Right, go on, Joe. 177. Let's see.
The first number, Jez, is 103.
103. I mean, you'll absolutely love this, Joe Martin. He's won a few times just recently.
Oh, really? Is he blessed?
Yeah, he's a great golfer. He's a he loves his golf. He's a good mate of yours, Joe. I think he's a bit of a better coach than you. Can you guess who it is?
It's a coach for me. Brown, eh? Nigel Brown?
Yeah, Nigel Brown.
Brownie. Oh, fantastic. That's great news.
Popular winner.
Nigel
Very
Brown.
popular winner.
£100. What a top fella.
Oh, that's
I think
super.
he won 12 months ago. I'll never, ever get over the fact that Nigel stuck up for Lowerhouse about 25 years ago in Haslingden Cricket Club's bar when someone was slagging us off, and he kicked off and got pinned against the wall. I'll not mention what happened, but he stuck up for Lowerhouse when he weren't even a Lowerhouser. £80, Joe, please. The next number.
Number 44.
44. Tommy Braille.
Tommy.
Excellent. Is he a recent winner, Jed?
He's recent, yeah.
Yeah, I think so, guys.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Because every time he wins, we talk about getting him on podcast, and we do that.
Well, let's get him on.
Let's get him on. Let's get him and his brother on. Well done, Tommy. Let's just have a look, see if my records are up to speed. Yeah, 2023, March 23, you won.
Oh,
Feels
that's fair enough. It's fair enough.
Yeah, you think it's so long ago. That's unbelievable. So, £70, please, Joe. Can you spin your balls and give us another number?
139.
139. It's 139 is Louise Cotton.
Brilliant.
Right, this is ridiculous. Another family who just win every month.
Well, it wasn't every month. I think you might find it with Eliza last month, and then there was no one the month before that, and then Henry the month before that.
Oh, sorry, 3 out of 4. I do apologise.
It's all right. Jez picked out his whole family one week.
Yeah, and I haven't had nothing since, have I?
No.
So,
Peaks and troughs.
last prize
Peaks and troughs.
for £50. £50, please, Joe.
Number 69.
Melanie Norcross.
Well, mother.
I think Melanie won not long ago. Oh no, December 21.
Oh, fair enough.
So we've looks like we've got somebody who wants to join in Tom Walker. If anyone else wants to join, it's only £5 a month. We draw it obviously every month. We try to do it as live as we can like this, and then publicise it, because there were some allegations years ago of fixing, which clearly wasn't true.
And it's not true now, Jess, based on the number, based on the randomness of the winners, right?
Well, and also, and your innocence that one happened when
absolutely.
me and Gary used to do it. It might have been fiddled a little bit, but we can't do that now. We never did it, obviously. But if anyone wants to join, please feel free. We've had quite a few new members, a couple dropping out for various reasons, but we have a few free numbers, so please get in touch.
Jess?
So I've just worked it out quickly, Jess. I think that in 27 years, I must have paid in probably about over 1,300 quid, which I'm more than happy to do. I'm still alive, you know. I am still alive.
What's your number? What's Gary's number, Jez?
My number's 85. 85, Joe.
85.
No, it's 82.
82.
Well, that's why you've not won, Gaz.
Well,
What's my number, Jez?
And your Chris is 85.
Well, that's where I get 85 from. Then, yeah, he's won loads of times.
And I think you might find, Gary, you won £70 in January 2022. You might well hang your head.
Now you've only lost £1,200.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Before that.
So it's a great,
I haven't lost it.
great deal.
Tom, happy to donate it to the club.
Yeah,
which is what it has been, Gaz. A donation.
Yeah.
Joe Beneducci, your number is 35.
Well, that's
My
low,
age,
Joe.
excellent.
And your last win was February 2020. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, it's a long time. It's like
5
5 years
years.
ago. I mean, you're gonna have to rectify
Wow.
that soon, ASAP.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Rachel, your wife is 45, her number. And Rachel's won a few times, but it says
Yeah,
here
she
last
has.
time, October 22.
Is it shared when she wins?
Oh, absolutely not. Oh,
Let me just go back to what I was going to mention. Adam keeps putting stuff on here. Charlie has now passed 6,000 Lancashire League runs, which is some fantastic achievement. I think it said he was 7th or 8th now in the top batting. Tops his highest score for us at weekend. And Joe Martin needs 2 stumpings for 100 Lancashire League stumpings. Good lad. Right, really enjoyed that. It's such a good sporting weekend. Burnley getting promoted, some good football watched, and obviously 2 great performances from the first team. Second team, a fantastic win at Greenmount. Well done to those lads. We'll look at getting some of the second team players on the podcast, some characters on there that we can get on and have a good giggle with. So let's hope we keep the run going. Just as a little bit of a shout out, we've just released a different type of podcast just recently around Gary and his family and the COVID situation and what they went through with the issues they had with cancer through that period. It's going down a storm with the listens. We're getting so much feedback, so much positive help, and people who are thanking us for recording it. So thanks to Gary and your family for doing it. Thanks to Joe Martin for jumping in and everyone else who arranged and organised it. If you can, just give it a little listen. If you enjoy it, that's great. Or pass it on to people who it might help. You just never know. As we keep saying, if it helps one person, then it's the real bonus. Tom, thanks ever so much for coming on. Your honesty and your openness of how the game goes and how you have been performing is fantastic. Thanks very much. I'm loving the bowlers sharing everything. That works very well. Have you any final comments before we close this off?
No final comments from me. Peace out to the Lowerhouse faithful. It's been an absolute pleasure hanging with you fellas tonight. And good night, everyone.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Tom. Don't forget to look at the sponsorships, the sponsors who are sponsoring the players, who sponsor this podcast and the club. Please support them. The club is just growing and growing. To have a couple of thousand people down on Good Friday and making the money which generates back into cricket is fantastic. So keep supporting us and thanks for listening.
Gordon, send Morehouse to save the house.